I want to welcome you tonight to our first meeting. Hopefully we will have more when we have more information, but we just pretty much wanted to put our faces out there for you to let you know what we're doing, what our services are, planning for next year, planning for the rest of this year, athletics. There's just so much information, misinformation, just talk going on that, you know, we live in the ranchos, that's what happens. And so we want to make sure that we're giving the right information to you and that we put ourselves out there so that you can contact us. Some freshman parents may not know any of us. Most of you know us because you've been here for a few years. But for those people who don't know us, I'm going to have our staff introduce themselves also and tell you a little bit about what they're doing through this time. But number one, just want to let you know that Mr. Piedra and I and our counselors and our activities and athletic director are here for you, and we're here for your kids. If they need anything, if they need a new laptop, their camera is not working, all they need to do is call us and we delivered them. And so it's whatever we need to do to make your child successful. We've had some kids who are really struggling through this process. And we've been able to honestly sit one-on-one with them on a Google Classroom meet and just talk it through. Our teachers are amazing, and they've worked so hard to come up with plans for making it successful. If the kids contact them, the teachers are bending over backwards to do everything in their power to help them be successful. And so our counselors are on here, and they've been making phone calls like crazy, just trying to keep kids encouraged and moving forward. But again, it comes that those phone calls have to come from kids and parents for us to know there's things going on that they need support with. And so the number one reason for us meeting with you tonight is just to let you know that we are here for you. And this is awful. I so appreciate you guys showing your faces because it's so hard talking to a blank screen. And as most of you know, it really is, Liberty High School is all about families and relationships. And we pride ourselves in those two words. And so it's great to see wonderful faces, and we are so happy that you're here tonight. So I'll turn it over to Mr. Piedra real quick.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Osborne. Again, my name is Felipe Piedra. I'm your principal here at Liberty High School. I'm going to be including a couple informations here in the chat for you guys, my email. And I'm also going to be brave. I'm going to give you guys my cell phone number for those of you guys need to get a hold of me as I'm working from home. So you'll notice in the chat, please write it down. If you have a question, feel free to call me, text me, whatever it may be. If I don't answer, I promise I will get back to you pretty quickly. I do pride myself on that. I do want to make sure I'm accessible to you if you guys have any questions or if you guys need anything as far as any services for your child and whatnot. So I want to make sure you guys understand that we are working hard for your kids. It's rather awkward for us as well, distance learning as it is for your kids. But again, we are working tirelessly to make sure we can provide your kids with the educational opportunities they need to be successful. And like I said, we're also looking at the possibility here of a reopening soon and working on schedules for that. It'll now be our third or fourth schedule that we're creating to try to make sure we're meeting kids' needs. But you know, as information changes, we have to change into it and adapt with it as well. So hopefully you guys have liked the most recent change as far as scheduling. If not, we'd like to hear either way, but you know, we want to make sure that everyone understands that we're trying to be flexible and meet the needs of the kids. And I know hearing the feedback from my daughter, who's a freshman, she likes the schedule because it seems, she says it's more like school now, where she kind of feels like it goes through a school day. And I'm, you know, kind of hoping to hear some feedback from you guys as well as the night progresses. All right. That being said, I'll turn it over to Dr. Grossman.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you all for showing up tonight. We're excited to communicate some information with you, more or less hear your concerns. But on the counseling standpoint, a couple updates I have for you. The first being over the next couple months for our 9th, 10th, and 11th grade parents, myself and Mr. Pondo will be entering their English classes most likely to start planning for next year. We don't know exactly what that may look like yet, but we want to make sure that all of our students know what classes are available, how it aligns with their career paths, as well as their graduation requirements. So again, myself and Mr. Pondo will be going into classrooms and reviewing that information with your students. Okay. We also have a new form this year, being that we are all online. Typically, you guys are familiar with seeing the form sent home. where you'll sit down with your student and discuss these classes and eventually put your autograph on there. We created a PDF fillable document that will be posted on the Liberty High School Counseling website and ultimately shared with your students. So we really encourage you guys to review that with your students, have those discussions to make sure they're aligned with their goals and career paths. And myself and Mr. Pondo are always available to sit down and have those conversations as well. The next point I wanted to talk about was summer school. Although we are still waiting on specific dates and times for the district, the last few years, including last year when the pandemic was first introduced to us, summer school was done online. Typically, it is in the month of July, where the first 2 weeks are dedicated to the first semester courses and the second 2 weeks are dedicated to the second semester courses. I'm assuming, again, it's going to be online, done through a program called Edgenuity. Don't quote me on that, but that's what we are most familiar with the last few years. And students will be able to make up any Fs that they received in a core class or a D in math. We may have some possibilities for electives through the use of the Edgenuity program as well. So as soon as we get that information, one, we'll post that calendar on Parent Square and email it out to you guys. And two, myself and Mr. Pondo will be reaching out to those students who may have failed or got a D in a class, just to let them know what to expect over summer. So that's all I have. If you guys have questions for me when we get to that point, don't hesitate to ask. Mr. Pondo?
Hello, my name is Jane. I'm just kidding. It's Mr. Pondo. Apparently one of my daughter's friends are here using our Zoom. So glad you guys are here tonight. Just wanted to briefly talk about communication and just want to encourage you guys, if you do have concerns in classes, we would like to direct you to the first line of communication, which would be our teachers, and just email them. But if you also include Mr. Grossman and I in those conversations, so we know what's going on and we can be up to date what's going on, with the situation with your students. And then if you haven't got a reply, in at least in a day or so, let us know. And so then we can send out an encouraging email to them to get back to you guys. Next thing is seniors. I know I have a couple of senior parents I see here. Hi, senior parents. Scholarships. We are approaching, yes, I see you, Mr. Page. I acknowledge you this time. Didn't do it our first meeting. It's going to be scholarship season, and in February, we're going to have our local scholarship program coming up. I'm working with clubs and organizations to get those scholarships ready. I'll be passing out a form of all the due dates and little description. But senior parents, you should have gotten a lengthy Parent Square message from me regarding just Jostens. If you haven't ordered your cap and gown, there's still time to do that. Just look at the link that I posted on jostens.com. If money is an issue, you can call them and you can borrow a cap and gown from them as well. I put a link to our scholarship drive. So you can start looking at scholarships, what's already out there. There's a couple that are starting to, deadlines are starting to come up. So you want to make sure you look at those, which ones are coming up. And then for those, and I know it's not going to apply to everybody, but for those students who are going to a four-year college, and if they need, if your student's taking a MCAP course, dual enrollment, or high school Richmond college course, and if they need your college transcript, I also linked a video on there as well. So just look over it. And then also FAFSA is coming up March 2nd, and is the deadline for FAFSA. And so you want to make sure that you get that, you apply for FAFSA. There's a free workshop provided by Madera College this Thursday. I attached a flyer to the Parent Square message. It's at 3 o'clock and it's Zoom. So you want to check that out and get more information. And so that's what I have right now for the counseling side. Again, like Mr. Grossman, if there's any questions, I'll check out the chat, and also please feel free to ask away. We're here. Nice to see you guys.
Hey, Albert, there was a question in the chat. It says, will the cap and gown announcement orders be delivered to their homes or school? And any idea when?
Okay, great question. Cap and gowns will be delivered to the high school, and we'll do a drive-through. The Jostens actually will do a drive-through. We did a drive-through last year. It's going to be probably around April sometime. I can't say when, if it'll be early or mid-April. And so once they give me a date, I will let you guys know and put it out on Parent Square at least about a couple weeks in advance. So it won't be like, oh, hey, tomorrow's cap and gown. No, you'll have a good amount of notice when those come. And also for those who are CSF, they will, once I get the list from Mrs. Marion who qualifies, I will send it over to Jostens and they will replace the green cap and gown for the white cap and gown. Okay. But if you want to take, hey, we got pictures coming up and we need to borrow one, we do have some reserved cap and gowns in our office. So just let us know if you want to do pictures or something like that with, you know, until years come. It just won't have the tassel or the stole for it. We just have the cap and gown. Okay.
So I'm just going to interject really quick while we're on the cap and gown situation, because some of you are going, what? Why do I need a cap and gown? Are we doing graduation? So the question is, yes, we are doing a graduation. It most likely will look very similar to last year's graduation. It was nice. It was a really nice event that we held. We had tables out on the football field, and it was really nice. That is most likely what we are going to do again at this point in our planning, and things can always change. You know how that is. We pulled that graduation off in less than 2 weeks, and so now at least we have some advanced planning to do. We are also going to be doing the virtual graduation. And so that will be happening here the middle of May, middle to the end of May, just because it takes a while to get it done and to give Mr. Chance some time to do it, do all his magic on it. It does take some time. So more information will be coming out, but as far as Liberty High School is concerned, we will be doing a graduation unless powers that be say different. That's our plan. So just plan on that. So I'm going to hand it over to Mr. Nolte and he can talk about athletics.
Hi, everybody. Thank you all for logging on tonight and being with us for this. My name is Mike Nolte. I'm the athletic director here. Currently, it seems like everything else, athletics and CIF and the state of California is a constant changing, swinging door, in and out of dates and different things like that. I do have information of where we are currently, and to sort of try to put it in a nutshell, and then if there's any questions, I can answer those specifically. But those sports that are currently in season, even though there's not any competitions at this point, are cross country, football, and volleyball. And then the rest of the sports all start anywhere from, competition wise, anywhere from mid-February to mid-March, depending on the sport. And then each sport has a tier that they're allowed to compete in. The purple tier sports that are allowed to compete are cross country, golf, tennis, and track and field within their season parameters that the CIF puts out. The red tier is baseball and softball. The orange tier is football, soccer, volleyball. And the yellow tier is basketball and wrestling. So with that information, we are doing our best at this time to put together schedules, and basically been meeting with the league ADs the last week and this week, and we've come up with league schedules for everybody. And for some of the sports, the window of whether they're going to have a season or not is starting to close pretty quickly. So there's going to be, depending on where we are, those seasons of sport will happen or they won't happen, depending on what tier we're in at what point in time. So, I have that up. The competition part, practices for all sports technically can happen. Right now, the indoor sports cannot practice indoors until we get to the red tier. But other than that, any sport could practice outside using the district approved parameters. And I have that information too as well if anybody wants specifics on that. So that's where we are. And again, I have a lot more information, but again, it's probably too much to just go over and
Mike, can you go over the cohorts?
unless it's one's specific. Yes, the cohort. Thank you, Candace. CIF is working with the California Department of Health, and prior to December 15th, it was said that kids could participate in club at the same time as school, and multiple different sports. On December 15th, they came out with new guidelines and basically are restricting kids to participating only in one cohort at a time over the same season or same time period. This obviously creates a problem for multi-sport athletes as all these seasons are overlapping, but it does force the kids to choose what they want to do at any given point in time.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Chance, go over activities.
Yeah, hi. My name is Mr. Chance. I'm the activities director, and I think I've said this so many times. It should be a bumper sticker. We're like a wedding coordinator without a wedding to plan for, so it's kind of hard. I know we're trying our best to come up with some ideas to keep the kids busy and active. And I know we pushed back the senior gift. We had some senior gifts that we're going to be issuing out next Monday. And so when that happens, the kids are really eager to start doing something for the seniors because we know it's their last year and so forth. So we're going to be doing every month something. And with that, the gifts that we're going to be issuing, they're getting a t-shirt, a sign, and some stickers. But then we're also going to be including some Valentine's things. And then for March, we're going to be doing something for St. Patrick's Day and so forth. And we're just going to kind of gauge it month to month. But the kids are coming up with some really great ideas. The hard part, though, is as far as what they want to do, it's just our hands are tied to be able to get more than 10 people or 5 or whatever we're at now in a group. So, but I'm really pushing on them to continue with the ideas and stuff like that. So we're working with local parents. So any of you guys want to get involved and email me and let me know if you have some ideas. And we could open it up to address with our admin and so forth, just to kind of get the kids motivated to do some more things. So with that, we do have a June, with that virtual graduation, we will be airing that on Channel 18 again. The date's already tentatively being set right now. So your senior kids will actually have an opportunity to be on Channel 18 again. And that's pretty much it. If you want to join our Hawk Talk digital video on YouTube, we do a weekly bulletin that we post on our YouTube channel. So Liberty Hawk Talk is the slogan, and that's pretty much it so far. So, but yeah.
Well, thank you very much. We felt bad that we canceled yesterday's senior surprise, but with the rain and with Mr. Piedra, it's mostly probably Mr. Piedra because he kind of likes to be involved in all that public stuff. We want to see the kids, and we weren't going to take that away. So excited to see the kids next week, I believe, Mr. Pando. It's scheduled for next week on Monday, 2 to 4:30. 2:30 to 4:30?
2:30 to 4.
2:30 to 4. So we'll send out plenty of reminders. That's for our senior class.
Yeah.
And pass out their gifts. We will answer the questions in just a minute. Mr. Nolte, do you see a question there in your in the chat? Maybe you can help me answer.
Yes, there is girls golf.
Thank
So-
you. And does it practice with the boys golf?
This year only, typically they're not during the same season, but this year only there are, the girls and boys golf will run at the same time. We haven't quite figured out all that out yet since we have the same coach for both teams, but we'll get something figured out for sure. And then and boys tennis as well is their seasons. The girls tennis and boys tennis are going to run at the same time, which is going to create a challenge for us, only having 4 courts. But yes, both boys and girls tennis will happen.
And for, I guess, just questions for those individual people, they can contact those coaches, right? And they have by their email, if you have questions that for the coaches, they are looking forward to getting their teams together. So that kind of wraps it up for what we had planned. Mr. Piedra, do you have anything else to add? We're just going to go to questions and answers now.
You know, it looks like we have more questions kind of coming in terms of athletics. You know, right now we are again following the state and county guidelines as far as what sports we can play in and what tiers. One of the benefits that kind of came out, the new system was the tiers did allow us to move from, you know, cohorts of 10 student athletes or whatnot to now considering each team being considered a cohort. So we would be able to start getting larger groups together to practice. The challenge would be really for the indoor sports, for basketball and wrestling, as far as those sports kind of getting together. And I saw there was a question there about cheer as well, which can be another tough one because they do practice indoors. And with the stunting that Coach Brittany likes doing with the girls, some constant contact as well. So I'm not quite sure, Coach Nolte, what tier we would have to be in for that practice to start resume full time. But I know cheer is another one we're kind of anxiously awaiting that hopefully we can kind of get going.
Yeah, so with cheer, I believe that the sideline cheer is okay. They can practice outside. They can maintain their social distancing and all that kind of stuff. But that can happen. Obviously, we need games for those to go along with. The competition cheerleading part of it is listed in the yellow tier. So if our cheer team was to go to a competition to compete, it's usually inside a gym, and that would only be in the yellow tier, provided they let 1,000 people into a gym for a cheer competition.
And who is the boys tennis coach?
Oh, the boys tennis coach is still Coach Doss.
And he has an email, right?
Yes.
So we'll get that information out there to everyone once we get some more information about a potential start date for tennis. One of the also things that we want to be cognizant of is that the tier system, as far as, us having to be in certain tiers in order for us to be able to compete in those specific sports. And so that's definitely a challenge moving forward, but hopefully, as we're seeing rates drop little by little in Fresno County and throughout the state. And so hopefully we can get to the point where we can start having some athletic competitions for our kids. As of right now, just so you know, the sports that are in the purple, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mike, but we're looking at cross country, golf, tennis, track and field. Those will be allowed to compete right now, even though we were in the purple. So even though we aren't in school, those athletic competitions would be able to take place. The same would hold true for softball and baseball once we get to the red. And again, one of the challenges here moving forward is being in the red. Once we're in the red for 5 days, technically we start looking at reopening school with a limited number of students, as long as we can maintain social distancing. So that's the need for me to create another plan to take to the county and hopefully get approval, so that hopefully if and when we do get to the red and we sustain that for a week, that hopefully we can kind of reopen. So that would need to take place so we can get other activities such as marching band, Mrs. Frank, and those other activities as well in clubs. And that would include FFA and all the other after school activities as well. So we are, anxiously awaiting that hopefully our rates get better so we can start reopening and getting some kids an opportunity to get back on campus. As far as performances go, there are going to be some challenges with, not only performances for band, but also athletic competitions. One of the challenges that Coach Shinolte and the rest of athletic directors throughout the state are finding is that there is a requirement by the state that we can't travel farther than one county away from us to compete with other teams. So often we've traveled to Tulare County, Kings County, other counties to go and compete. We're not allowed to do that under the current guidelines. We'd only be allowed to travel south into Fresno County or north into Merced County for any athletic competitions, just because they don't want jumping multiple counties, which presents multiple challenges, not only for us, but for a lot of your larger school districts as well that travel multiple counties, going, as far down as Bakersfield, or in some cases, gosh, where did we go for soccer that one year, Coach, out in the desert?
Yeah, far.
And so, right, we traveled really far out there. So it's it can be a challenge, but we are working through that. We are working as far as getting some competitions scheduled. So in the event that we can compete, we would get some type of athletic competitions for our kids. But again, we are trying to overcome quite a few hurdles to get there. All right.
Yeah, even the sports that are in the purple tier, there's a lot of logistical things that are definitely hurdles. If you can imagine a cross country meet, it's not usually between just two schools. It's a huge meet, and putting all of those people in the same place and getting it approved by, like Fresno County for Woodward Park, for example, is definitely a hurdle for that. So the head-to-head matches for tennis and things like that, most likely, wouldn't be much of a problem.
All right. Thank you, Coach. Hey, Aretha saw the question there as far as reopening of school. Yes, we are still looking at a 50% capacity model for our students. And so we would go through, we are still looking at letters of the alphabet, and Candace, correct me if I'm wrong, A through L and then M through Z, right?
Mhm.
So.
And we're going to send out, as soon as we get the okay by the district, we will send out another just form just to answer questions, see who's still interested in coming back full time or back 2 days a week. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be a Monday or Tuesday, Wednesday will be one group, and then Thursday, Friday will be a second group. So change a little bit. Then we were going to do like a Tuesday, Thursday, and a Wednesday, Friday. So I think we decided as of today it was going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, Friday. Is that right?
Correct. And just so you guys know, the reason being for that and the thought process was to give the kids 2 consecutive days and not mix the cohort so much. Again, we're just trying to keep the kids from mixing so much, understanding that they will do that at home. They do that on the weekends or whatnot. But we're just trying to take pieces from what we're learning from Webster and Sierra View, and we're trying to figure out ways we could avoid shutdowns. Because the last thing we want is we don't want to be ping-ponging back and forth between going to school and then having a hard shutdown for 2 weeks. And so we're just trying to see if there's possible ways for us to avoid that. Again, there's no guarantees. Again, plenty of challenges for us here, and I'd be lying to you if I told you this was easy on myself or the staff, but we're trying to come up with something that is feasible for us, for our teachers, and that also gets our kids back on campus. And so just know that our hearts are in the right place, and we are thinking first and foremost of your kids as far as how we can get them back on campus and get them some type of social interaction. Because I having been a principal for a number of years now, the one thing I can guarantee you is your kids are all kind of missing some type of social interaction with their friends. I have a freshman daughter who is so anxious to be back on campus to kind of get to know the kids she sees on screen every day. And I have a senior son who is hoping for something of a senior season. So we're just kind of actually waiting to get you guys and all of our kids back on campus. So just know we're trying. All right. I just I'll be honest with you, I just need to catch a break from the county and hopefully get these county rates down a little bit. And if it's sooner rather than later, I'll be the happiest man alive. All right. So at this point, I do want to open it up. Any other questions? It can be for anyone in general. If you feel more comfortable adding the chat, please ask the question in the chat. If you want to join us on camera and ask a question, please, now would be the time to do so.
Melinda, we do appreciate your positive, and thank you, Beverly. We're working like everybody else and supporting our teachers as much as we can, and we're supporting those kids as much as we can, and we appreciate the positives. Grad night. At this point, yes, We are still planning. We're still going to work towards that. Obviously, things change in a moment's notice, and so we'll adapt when that comes up. But at this point, we are planning a prom and we are planning grad night. Whether it happens or not is kind of out of control, but we're going to plan for it. Any other questions?
Come on, Tara. You have to have a question for me, Tara.
Candace, I wanted to add, if anyone knows or doesn't know, we have a whole new line of clothing and
Oh, yeah.
and merchandise that if you want to come out and support us, and we've been sitting there ordering stuff. So we got plenty of hoodies, sweats, hats, beanies, all that good stuff. So if you're interested in that, we have it at the front office.
And we're soon going to be able to put that online and pay, and we can pay with a credit card now. So we are so excited. We are now being able to pay with a credit card. We've never been able to do that. And so I know it's so exciting. I was the first credit card used. So exciting. And so, yeah, it's just the little things out here in the ranchos that we love so much. But yeah, so if you, so much stuff in that room, it's so great to have clothing. We had kids that would purchase it, would be great. So to the next step, since Disney is canceled, I think they were looking at Universal.
Yeah, Universal Studios is a choice.
Yeah, so that's still where we're going at this point. Any other questions?
Hey, one more thing, if I can add on the senior aspect, Candace. I know we had a couple of our senior parents on this morning, and they were kind of talking about rallying the troops, so to speak, to making sure we can get some funding and some support for our seniors. Currently, I do have some site funds available for my site budget that I was able to use for some of the gifts coming out next week. And I share that with you because, I mean, obviously, without our teachers being in person, I'm not spending as much on supplies. And so I had a little bit of supply budget left over. So we were able to purchase some of the signs and whatnot for our kids that were getting, and ASB helped out with the t-shirts. But we have some parents wanting to put some things together as well, as far as some additional banners and whatnot that could potentially be going out, adopting seniors. And so just, Shane, good to see you. If you can be on the lookout as far as our senior parents, going out and recruiting and asking for donations, whatnot, again, would really appreciate it. We're trying to show our teachers that as a community, we have nothing but love and respect for them, and we want to support them in any way we can. So any support that you can or willing to give, we would greatly appreciate that as well. And also, I know we mentioned grad night and whatnot, but don't forget Sober Grad. That will also be coming up here in the next few weeks as far as getting that planned out as well.
And if you'd like to be put on the list of senior parents who want to help and support, you can send that to Albert Pondo, and he can, right, you can forward them to the right place. Miss Pazzi is the class advisor. And so she's holding senior meetings with her team of I guess her class representatives, right? And they are holding senior parent meetings at times. So if you want to be involved in anything, please just reach out to Mr. Pondo, and he can forward your name and information to Mrs. Pazzi. Yearbook information, I believe, just came out with Mr. Frisco. There was just a parent square that went out. Is there a hard deadline in getting info in? I believe there's definitely a hard date. I don't think that date was on that paper though. I can have him send that out, Beverly, and definitely have him answer that question tomorrow, because I don't know that for sure. Anybody else know yearbook hard date? I would get him in as soon as possible. It's kind of the best I can tell you. Any other questions? I can't tell you how nice it is to see your faces though.
Any comments, any feedback that you guys have on the scheduling? Is it working for your kids? Do you guys like the change or the updates? I know your kids probably bent to you guys a little bit more than they'll tell us, but would appreciate any comments you may have on the scheduling and how it's working out so far.
I think it's been good. It's better for them to have longer days at school, get more work done.
Mm-hmm.
So versus, kind of left to their own devices. So I think it's more structure and just better for them. And I like the earlier start. It gets them out of bed earlier. But that's my feedback.
Thank you, Aretha.
Thank
Kind
you.
of what I noticed as a parent as well on my end, so I do appreciate that.
And also just FYI, I mean, those tutorial times, they don't have to be optional. I mean, that's a one-on-one time with the teacher. They can put kids into breakout rooms and talk to them one-on-one or help them with their classwork or whatever. It's such an amazing tool that kids are not taking advantage of. And so if your child's suffering at all or struggling with academics or can't figure out that chemistry question or whatever the situation is, tell them to go to tutorial. It really does make a difference. Oh, okay. Thank you, Beverly. Thank you, Melinda. And Patty, I totally agree with you. It'd be great to have a short day on Friday. It just didn't work out in the schedule this time. Yeah, we would all love that.
Well, in our defense, Patty, we've kind of mentioned it, and sometimes the higher ups look at us like, yeah, you just want an early vacation on the weekend, so that's a tough sell.
Yeah.
Also, hey guys, thank you for the MiFis that you guys provided, because for those of us parents that have to work from home and we are on Zooms, it helps with our capacity to be able to work as well. So much appreciated.
You are welcome. I'm glad that that worked out for everybody. Okay, is there any other questions or concerns that anybody has? Comments? You can always email your teachers with with comments or concerns that you have. We appreciate that. They don't know what's going on unless somebody tells them. Senior parents, any questions? No, hopefully we will be seeing your kids next week. And then I think Mr. Chance has some things planned for pretty much every month after that until we get to go back in person. So I know.
So just kind of keep an eye on that too. One of the things that we will be looking at, and again, just going off experience now, seeing Webster and Sierra View, we will be surveying parents again as far as when and if we start getting close to an opportunity to come back, as far as which parents want to come back. One of the things we noticed at Sierra View and Webster, some parents chose to stay on distance learning through the school site rather than have their kids kind of ping pong back and forth or whatnot, or just out of health concerns as well. So we just, want to get a good feel as far as how many kids would be on campus, so that way we can plan and, make arrangements on our end as far as what our classroom sizes would look like. But, we will be getting that information out again as well. Lastly, on my end, do I have any freshman parents on here? I'd love to hear your take so far, especially if you are new to the high school, as far as how we're doing and how my teachers are doing and how we're doing on our end as a admin team for you as well.
I'm a freshman parent. I think, oh, sorry.
Either
No,
way.
go ahead.
I just wanted to say, my daughter is doing great. She's loving it. I think that the schedule, I was actually, I don't know, I wasn't excited about the long day, but it works good for them just because I liked, I don't know, I guess her getting out early once in a while and getting her homework done later, whatever. She makes her own schedule. She's fine with that. I know not everybody is, but I noticed that she's getting her homework done during the day, and she's got her evenings, and she's got time to talk to the teachers if she needs to. So I do like that. I do like the longer periods because I was kind of pushing for the 2-hour block type of things. So I definitely like this better.
Thank you.
Yes, I agree. I like the longer schedule. But one thing from RMS, the teachers would put in a grade and say it was late or missing or incomplete or something. So, and I was kind of expecting that to be on Aries, and I'm not finding that. So there was a little, because I don't check the Google Classroom. I usually only check Aries because for me, my student should be communicating with his teacher in Google Classroom, and the teacher should be communicating with me in Aries or directly email. That's
So
just kind of how I feel.
What we've
Does
asked
that
the
make sense?
teachers to do is have their grades updated every Friday afternoon. I think we gave them till Sunday night to get their grades updated every week. And so hopefully that's happening. I know that some teachers are kind of struggling with some grades sometimes when they accept things so late. But for the most part, they were trying every Monday to be updated their grades would be updated by Monday. And so I know that for the most teachers last year, that was really that was done, and the teachers did get grades updated by Monday morning. So if that's not happening, then please let us know specifically, and we can totally talk to the teachers and make sure that happens.
Most definitely. And to follow up on Ms. Osborne's point there, if you can kind of email us privately on that one. Obviously, I don't want to out anybody here on Zoom, but if you can just let us know personally as far as which teachers you're having difficulty with as far as grades not being updated, would be more than happy to intervene.
Well, it was, it appeared like it wasn't graded, and really the assignment was not completed, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, but it was just left as a 0, me thinking she didn't put it in there, but really he got a 0, but because he only did part of the work, if that makes sense. So it was partially my fault because I'm not also checking my student didn't do all of what he was supposed to do.
And the teachers are great about, if you want to be on their Google Classroom, they will send you a link so that you can actually see their Google Classroom and see what they turn in and how much credit they get for it. So you're welcome. If you just contact the teachers, they will put you on as a parent and give you access to your child's Google Classroom.
Okay.
Okay.
Candace?
Yes.
So I just got a text from Mr. Formisco, and he says that the final deadline is at the end of March for the yearbook.
Oh, is he on here?
No, he just, I text him and he just texted me back.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so end of March is the final deadline, Beverly, right? Okay, any other questions? We appreciate you guys coming so much. If there's anything we can do for you, we are here for you. You have our cell numbers on there, our email addresses. If you just want to talk and find out any new information, you're welcome to contact. We are pretty good on Parent Square, letting you know what's going on. And if there's anything we can do for you, please reach out. Okay. Okay, so this concludes the meeting, and I'm going to head over to the board meeting if there's no other questions. Okay.
All right, thank you, everyone.